Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. This is Rohit. Friends, in today's video we are going to discuss about how we can send an email from Android application with help of existing email clients like Gmail. So in this video, first of all, we are going to understand theoretically how we are going to send email in Android application. Then we are going to see list of fields that we can use for sending extra data with our email. Then we are going to see what type of intent we have to specify while sending email, what methods of intents we will require while sending email, and at last of this video, practically we will try to understand how we will send email in Android application. So friends, in Android we can use applications for sending email using existing email clients like Gmail may be there, Outlook may be there. So we do not have to implement the email client from scratch. So existing clients will be used by our application for sending email. So for sending email from Android application, we are going to use the concept of intents. And as we know, there are two types of intents. First one is implicit intent and second one is explicit intent. So for sending email, we are going to use implicit intent. So as all of you know, intents are simple message object and it is used to achieve the communication between different Android components. So what components we will have? So we will have activities, we will have content providers, we will have broadcast receivers, or we may have services. So in case of activities, intents can be used for jumping between activities. So from first activity you can jump to second activity, from second you can jump to third one. Now while jumping between these activities, we may also pass data between activities. So if you have collected certain data within activity 1 and you want to pass that data to activity 2, that also you can do with help of intent. So this is the first component where we use intent for communication. So the communication between activities can be achieved through the intent. Second component, we have content provider. So whenever applications require to share data with each other, then it is done with the content providers. So this is another component where intents are useful. Third component, we have broadcast receiver. So this broadcast receiver basically responsible for responding to the broadcast messages. Now these broadcast messages may be from applications or these broadcast messages may be from system like critical battery, like boot up completed. So there are different types of messages to which these broadcast receivers are responsible for responding. So in broadcast receivers as well we are going to use intents. And last component, we have services. So as we know, services are basically the long running background task. So these services are keep running in the background, and to implement services, intents are useful. Okay, so these are the usage of intents where intents are really useful. So basic purpose of intent is allowing the communication between different components of Android. And what different components we have? So activities, content providers, broadcast receivers, and services. So as I told, we may use intents for carrying data as well. So while jumping from first activity to second activity, we may pass data from first activity to second activity. So if you have a registration form on activity 1 and you have certain fields like name, address, phone number, and you want to pass that data to activity 2, so with help of intent you can do that. So intents basically used for carrying data as well from one component to another component. And here we are understanding from one activity to another activity we may pass data with help of intents. So while carrying this data, the data may be carried within application itself, or it may be carried outside of application as well. Both options are available. So within application or outside application, in both cases we can use intents. Now here, as I told, to send email we are going to use implicit intent. So where Android will help us to choose what activity we want to start, which application we want to start. So it is going to provide us different available applications from which we are going to select particular application which we want to open. So here, while using implicit intent, our action will be action send. So this will simply tell that we want to start certain activity and we want to send certain data to that activity. That is what the meaning of action send. So while specifying the implicit intent, its attribute we are going to specify as action send. This is the constant value. Okay, so action send will tell that we want to start a new activity and we want to send certain data to that activity. That is meaning of action send over here. So remember that while using implicit intent, we are going to specify action send with intent. Now as I told, like while jumping from one activity to another activity, we may send certain extra data as well, whatever we want to share to another activity. So here, while redirecting user to the email client like Gmail, we may pass certain extra data. We may pass certain extra fields. And what fields we are going to pass with intent? So we are going to pass email ID. Now this is the ID to which we want to send email. This is the email ID to which we want to send email. This is the first thing we are going to pass with our intent. Second thing we are going to pass, that is subject of email. And third thing we are going to pass with our intent, that is actual message, actual email body you can say, or message you can say. So these three extra things we are going to pass with our intent. So it is basically called extra data that we are going to pass with our intent. Now with this basic data, we may also able to pass certain other fields as well, other data as well. And what extra data we may pass? So let's try to see the list of extra fields that are supported while sending the email. So with intent, you may able to pass the following extra fields. Okay, basic we have seen email ID, subject and message. Other than this, we may pass certain extra fields, whatever we are going to discuss here. Okay, now first field we have extra BCC. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. So this basically string which will hold the email addresses, and whatever email addresses you will specify here, to all that email addresses the blind carbon copy will be sent. Then second field we have extra CC, that is carbon copy. So whatever email addresses you will specify here, so to all that email addresses carbon copy will be sent. Then third you have email address. So this is the string which is holding the email address to which we want to send email. Now next to that we have extra HTML text. So this field is basically used for sending email message as an HTML formatted text. So we may use extra HTML text or we may use extra text. These both are alternative to each other. So you can use extra text which will send the email as an plain character sequence, or you may use this extra HTML text which will send message as HTML formatted text. So different HTML tags you may use, bold, italic, underline, H1, means in short you can format the text within your email. Okay, so remember that you have to use this extra HTML text or you have to use this extra text. At a time only one you can use, so that's why we are saying these both are alternative to each other. Okay, so extra HTML text, this is for sending email with the HTML formatted text. So if you want to send certain formatted text, then go with this one, and if you want to just send plain text, then go with this last one, extra text. And then you have extra subject, so this will hold the subject of our message. Okay, already we discussed extra text, so this will define the plain text message that we want to send. Okay, so last field we have extra title. So whenever user will click on our send email button, then he will be presented with the list of available email clients. So to that dialog box, what title we want, so that title we can specify here with help of extra title. So we will specify the title of action chooser, and what this action chooser will specify us, it will specify the list of email clients that are available within our phone. So we may get Gmail within the list. Okay, so these are certain extra fields that you may pass with your intent. Okay, now how actually we are going to pass data with intent? So for that purpose we have one method available, and that method is called PutExtra. Name of method is PutExtra. Now what is use of this PutExtra method? So this PutExtra method is used for adding certain extra data with our intent. So here the data is actually specified in form of key value pair. So there are actually two parameters that we need to specify with PutExtra method. First parameter is the name of data, and second parameter is actual data. So name of data, that is key, and actual data, that is value. So PutExtra basically specified in form of key value pair always. Okay, now let's see the example. Suppose we are creating here one explicit intent. Now intent, name of our object is my intent, new intent, and to this we are specifying two parameters. First one is the current context, that is we are retrieving with help of get application context, and second one, this is the activity where we want to redirect our user with help of intent, explicit intent. Now second dot class, this is the name of file where user will get redirected, or whether where user will jump. Okay, now while sending user from first activity to second activity, I am going to pass certain extra data as well. And how I'm going to pass extra data? So I'm going to use PutExtra method here. So how I'm going to specify it? So object of our intent, that is my intent dot PutExtra, and as we discussed, we have to specify our data in form of key value pair. So here first key is name, and what value I am passing? My name I am passing. Then second data I am passing, that is subject. So here value is Android, and third data I am passing, that is class, and value is third year. Okay, so these are all extra data that I'm going to send to second activity. So here simply understand, this is a method PutExtra, and we are specifying data in form of key value pair. So this is value, and it is associated with key name. This is value and it is associated with key subject, and this is value which is associated with key class. This is how you can pass extra data with intent. Now friends, once you pass extra data with intent, it will be your responsibility to collect that data as well within your second activity wherever you have passed. So we have passed this data from first activity to second activity, and it will be our responsibility to collect this data within second activity. And how we are going to collect this data? So for collecting data, or for retrieving data, or for fetching data, we have one method called GetExtra. So this GetExtra method will help us to collect the data that is passed from previous activity. So in our case, we will be able to collect this data with help of getExtra method. Now how to collect data? So for that I am going to create one string variable, let's say f name, and within this f name we are going to retrieve this first data that is having key value name. So how I'm going to do that? So get intent dot get extra, and as I have passed the string data over here, I am using get string method. And what key value with which I have sent my data? That is name. So specify key value here. Okay. So this will retrieve the first data that is name, and it will store it in f name. Now in the same way, I want to retrieve the second data that is subject name. So again I am going to use get intent dot get extra, and get string method I am going to use and specify the key value of your data. So your data is Android, and what is its key value? Subject. So it will retrieve the subject value within this variable. And third data I'm going to retrieve, that is class name. Okay, so here I will use class name. And how I'm going to retrieve it? So again I'm going to use get intent, get extra, get string, and what is key value? So key value is class. Okay, now friends, here all our data was in form of string. But what if you have integer data? Then you can also pass integer data, only you need to change the function. So here if you are passing any integer data through the intent, then here you have to use a function called getInt. Suppose you are passing float data, then here you have to use getFloat, like that. Okay, so here all of our data was in form of string. That's why we have used method called getString over here. Remember the difference here, depend on data there are different functions available: getString, getInt, and getFloat. Okay, now while sending email we also need to specify the type of intent. This is very important point. So as we are going to send email using intent, so we also need to specify the type of intent, and here the type of intent will be RFC 822. Now what is RFC? It stands for request for comment, and its number is 822. So this is basically internet specification, and its number is RFC 822, and it is defining an electronic message format, and which will consist certain header fields and optional body message. Okay, now what header fields? It will contain more details regarding message, such as who is sender, who is receiver, what is subject. All these header fields will be specified. So it is just a specification which is defining email. Okay, so email will contain what? Email will contain certain header fields, and it will contain the body message. And what we will have in header fields? So we will have the address of sender, the address of receiver, the subject. Okay, so this is the standard. Remember the number RFC, that is request for comment, and its number is 822, which is representing email. Okay, now how we are going to set the type of intent over here? So let's say my intent object is my intent. Okay, so I am going to specify the type of intent with help of set type method, and here we are going to specify the type of intent message slash RFC 822. Okay, so this is how we are going to specify the type of intent while sending email. So friends, this is all the theoretical things that we want to understand while sending email. Okay, and that you will require while sending email. Now let's try to talk about GUI that we are going to discuss within the practical example. So in GUI we will have three edit text. First edit text will be used for specifying the email address to which we want to send email. Second edit text will be used for holding the subject of our email, and third will be used for specifying the message that we want to send. And one button we will have, and that button will be send email. So whenever user will click on the send email, whatever details we have specified, according to that it will present the available email client from the user's phone, and whenever user will select appropriate email client, all these details will be copied to that email client like Gmail, and from there we will be able to send the email. Now friends, I will take you to the Android Studio, where I have already created one project called email demo, and we got these two files over here. Now first of all, we will try to create our GUI as per discussion. So I will take this hello world to the top of screen, and I'm going to change it to email demo. Then I'm going to change its size. Okay. Now next to that we are going to add three edit text over here. So this is the first edit text. Now after this, next edit text we will add. So again we will set the constraint, and third edit text. Okay, and at last one button we are going to add. Now we will try to customize this all fields and button. Now first of all, here we are going to remove this text, and we are going to specify the hint over here for this. So hint will be email ID. Now for this again we are going to specify hint subject, and for this hint will be message. Okay, and with this we will remove this text for both of this edit text like this. And at last I'm going to change the text of this button like this. Okay. Now friends, here our GUI is completed. So we have three edit text available where user is going to enter email address, subject and message, and at last he will click on send button. So whenever user will click on send email button, the list of available email clients will be presented, and from which user will be able to select the required email client. Okay. Now I will take you to the Java file. So first of all, we are going to create the objects. So here we are going to create objects. So edit text, let's say T1, comma T2 and T3. Then we have one button. So button B1. Okay, now I need to import this class like this. Okay, now here first of all we will fetch a reference for all of our GUI components. So first of all we will have edit text T1. So here we will write edit text, find view by ID, r dot id dot edit text. Okay, let me check what ID we have for all these. Okay, so we will change ID over here. Let's say edit text 1. Okay, for this we will specify edit text 2, and for last text we will specify edit text 3. Okay, you can keep that by default ID as well, but I think that was too long to handle, that's why I have changed it. So first ID we have ET1. Okay, okay, now I will copy this line 2 times, and one more time we will try to add this line. Okay, now this will be ET2, this will be ET3, and here respectively we will have T2 and T3. At last we will fetch the reference for our button. So let's say B1 is equal to button, find view by ID, r dot id dot button, like this. So after fetching this reference, we are going to add now event handling related code. So whenever user will click on button, we are going to present him the list of available email clients. Okay, so here we will add set on click listener to our button 1, and with this we are getting this default method on click. Now within this method, first of all we are going to retrieve the value of all edit text one by one. So here we will write fetch the values of all edit text. So we have three edit text. First edit text is email address, second edit text is subject, and third one is message. So for all these we are going to create string variables. Okay, so first of all I will create string variable. Let's say mail ID is equal to, what is our object? So our object is T1 dot get text dot toString. So this will retrieve the value of email address. Now second we are going to retrieve the subject. So here I will write subject, and we have T2 which is representing our subject dot get text dot toString, and third one we have message. So I will write here msg as a variable name, and it will be t3 dot get text dot toString. So here in this way we have retrieved all the values, okay, whichever user is going to specify. Next to that we are going to create intent now. Create implicit intent. And how we are going to create it? So I will write here intent, my intent, any name you may specify here. My intent is equal to new intent, and as we discussed we have to specify the action send, okay. So here we will write intent dot action send. So here you can see action send, okay. So it is simply telling that we want to start the new activity and we want to send certain data to that activity. That is what the action send. After specifying action send, we are going to specify the extra data that we want to pass with extra data that we want to pass with intent. What extra data we want to pass with intent now? So as we discuss, we are going to pass mail ID, subject and message. And as we discuss in theory, in order to pass extra data with intent, we have to use PutExtra method. So here you are going to use PutExtra method. Okay, and this PutExtra methods requires data in form of key value pair, as we discuss key value pair. Okay, remember this. And how to call this method? Simply call it with your object of intent. What is object of intent here? My intent. So I'm going to call now. First of all, we are going to pass the email. So here I will write my intent dot PutExtra, and first of all specify the extra email. So here I will write extra email, okay, and wherever value of email is available, so it is available in a string variable mail ID. So here I am going to write new string, and in round bracket we are going to specify the our variable mail ID. This is first thing, we are adding email address, that is extra data to our intent. Okay, now next thing we are going to add subject. Now again we are going to follow same way, my intent dot PutExtra, and here we will specify intent dot extra, and what is our field name here? Subject. And wherever subject is available, in which variable it is available? So it is available within variable called subject, okay, like this. So here we have specified subject. Now third thing, we have to specify the message that we want to send. So here I will write my intent dot PutExtra, and again we are going to use intent dot extra, and we can use extra text or HTML text. These are alternative to each other, we have discussed in theory. So here we are going to use extra text, and wherever message is available in which variable, so it is available in message variable, and there will be semicolon. So this is how we have specified the extra data that we want to pass with our intent. Okay, now next to that, as we discussed, we have to set the type of intent. So here we are going to set the type of intent, and what type we have discussed? So we have discussed RFC, that is request for comment 822, which is representing email. So let's say my intent dot set type, and it will be message slash RFC 822. Okay, so this is how we have specified the type of intent here. And now we will try to start our activity. So we will write here start activity. And in order to start our activity, we are going to specify the chooser function. So here we will write start activity, and here we will use intent dot create chooser, and here we are going to specify our intent object my intent, what title we want to our chooser. So we want like please select email client. Okay, this title we want, any title you may specify here. This is what the code we have for email. Now here our logic is completed, and now we will try to test it. Friends, now I have connected my mobile phone, and now let's try to run our app. So here the build process is going on. So here the build process has completed, and now it is installing the application. So here we will tab on install, and now it is launching our activity. So this is what the GUI we receive here. So here first of all we will specify email address. So let's say okay, this is the email address where I want to send a message. Then message will be hello from Rohit. This is the subject, and message will be demo email. Okay, now we will tab on send email. Now we can see here it is presenting us the email client like Gmail, and the title of this chooser is please select email client. So here we will select email client Gmail, and now here we can see it has copied the address of receiver, the subject line, and the message. Okay, so here I will select another account. Let's say from same account we will send the email, and I will tab on send now. So if I now check the email, so here we can see we have received a message that is demo email, and this is the subject name hello from Rohit. Okay, this is how we have received email. okay, here within the account. So friends, this is how we can send the email from Android application. So friends, if you find this video useful, please like and share this video. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe our channel. I will see you in next video. Thank you for watching.